Transformations of functions. These are the rules for transforming functions. And I want you to go ahead and pause the video so you can write these down in your notes if you want to do that. This covers everything. The first four are we call translations, and that's because we're just shifting the graph around. So the original function f of x could be the square root of x, x squared, anything. You're just adding a constant. And by the way, for this chart, c is greater than 0. So we're assuming that c is positive, and you're just going to shift the graph up, down, left, or right by c units. And then here, we're actually transforming the function because the shape changes and the orientation changes when you reflect. So when you multiply by constant on the outside or the inside, it's going to stretch or shrink vertically. It shrinks if c is less than 1. And here, if you multiply by negative on the outside, it reflects across the x-axis, and on the inside, it reflects across the y-axis. So let me go ahead and share my screen so we can look at some examples. All right. Here we have a question. How can the graph of f of x equals minus 8x squared plus 6 be obtained from the graph y equals x squared? So y equals x squared is our original function. And you can see we have a reflection. Since the negative is on the outside of the x squared, it's reflected across the x-axis. The 8 shows 8 is greater than 1, and so it's going to stretch vertically by 8, by a factor of 8. And we say factor because it's multiplied here. And then it's here, we're adding 6, so it's going to be shifted up 6 units. So D is the correct choice. Let me go up to question 1. Here we have the absolute value function, and we have negative 10 on the outside. So it's going to be stretched vertically by a factor of 10, and it's going to be reflected across the x-axis. In question 2, we have the square root function, and the negative is on the outside, but notice this time the 9 is added on the inside of the square root. So when it's on the inside, and it's going to be a horizontal shifting, and it's plus 9, so it's going to be to the left. It's not going to be reflected across the y-axis, rather the x-axis. So this is the correct choice right here. Okay, so you can practice these problems in your homework. If you're not understanding, I would definitely ask for more problems. I think that's a function that you can do in your homework.